It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got a beer from Vocation Brewery, and it's they launched a beer into Tesco. I picked it up. It was between £3.50 and £4 to buy. And this is their double Tonka Frappe coffee stout at 8% ABV. I've not really seen too much of Vocation in the last, 18 months. They were a brewery they seemed to be, at least 4 or 5 years ago, Vocation were a brewery that seemed to be everywhere. You could go to their website, you could order great beer. You could go to the supermarket and order their beer. And this is just a personal thought from me, but I think the wheels fell off the wagon a little bit with Vocation when they brought out their celebrations kind of box set of beers, which I drank a few of them. I think I had the Mars one, I think I had the Snickers, I think I had the Bounty, and on a personal level I found them awful. So perhaps it was me and my mind maybe pushing Vocation to the one side a little bit, in terms of I then tried some of their supermarket beers after the celebration beers, and I found them their stouts were overly sweet and sickly. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is, if you're a fan of sweet beers, then this could be for you. If you're more of a traditional stout person, then let me stop you here and say that this video, this review from me, I don't want to waste anybody's time, because I always get these comments these days of, oh, you knew before you even opened the can that you weren't going to like this beer, so why have you bought it and why are you reviewing it? I seem to get that a lot lately. So let's not waste anybody's time. If you have a thought that I'm not going to like this beer, then there's a billion other videos on YouTube that you can watch. If you're interested in my thoughts on this beer, and if you're interested in me giving my opinion on the beer and telling you whether it's massively sweet or as an Imperial Stout at 8% ABV, whether it's reasonably bitter, then carry on watching. I've just bought this can, not necessarily through buying it for personal consumption, but to offer some information and to offer some insight into what it is, what it looks like, what it pours like. So let's hope we've covered a few things of these. I had one this morning actually, talking about a Ford Fiesta being a Ford 4x4, something along those lines, like confusing a Ford Fiesta with a 4x4. I kind of got the comment, but at the same time they were like, why are you buying the beer? Why are you reviewing the beer if you know you're not going to like it? Well, this is what I do. This is what I have chosen to do. And because some of you like to watch this sort of thing, it's not a massive channel on YouTube. It will never be the biggest, nor do I probably want it to be the biggest ever channel on YouTube. But a lot of you have come here just for my opinion, just for my thoughts. Even just for the fact that I've got a really half decent quality video camera where I can just, there's probably a lot of you viewers out there that I can just point the beer at the camera And many of you will know if you're going to like it or not like it just by the look of the beer. To be honest with you, it looks pretty decent. The two finger tan coloured head, jet black beer in the glass, a little bit of carbonation as you rock the beer back and forth. It looks splendid, doesn't it? It looks splendid. What I'm hoping for, certainly in a coffee stout, is a lot of roasted malt, a lot of kind of roasted, kind of bitter flavours coming through in the beer. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's get the aroma. And to be honest with you, yeah, it's got a bit of that kind of like chocolate sauce and ice cream or cream over the top of the thing. It definitely has an element of sweetness there. But also I'm definitely picking up maybe a little bit of roasted malt, a little bit of chocolate malt, maybe a little bit of cacao, a bit of coconut. I think this might be a better effort from Vocation. Leaning into more of a traditional style of Imperial Stout, what some people expect from a stout at 8% ABV. Let's dive in. Cheers. No. No. Ah! No. It's so sweet. I'm going to actually turn my attention to Tesco here. I'm going to turn my attention to the actual supermarket here and not the brewery. I think it's very easy to turn and look at Vocation and go, oh, for goodness sake, what is this? Why do you keep producing these overly sweet beers? But perhaps it's Tesco's agenda. I don't know. Perhaps it's Tesco's like, oh, all of a sudden we know how to brew. We know, of course they're going to know what their customers want. Of course they know that because, they sell something and they can see it if it's sold or not, and they can see which way possibly there's lots and lots of people that want to drink this style of beer. But I'm going to point the finger at Tesco here, firmly at Tesco, and say perhaps it's their remit. Perhaps it's Tesco putting a thumb down on Vocation here and saying we want this overly sweet stout on our shelves for £3.50 or £4 a can. Perhaps Vocation have not much of a say in the matter. They simply have to brew this beer to Tesco's remit. But it's a beer that I will not stick into my system. It's a beer that I will not drink. I'll have a few sips in the review and I'll sink pour the rest. It's just, I find, just overly sweet. This sort of thing, as well as energy drinks, I refuse to put in my system. Absolutely refuse to put in my system. I haven't drank an energy drink in 20 years. Because you've only got to read the side of the can. You've only got to read the stuff that goes in energy drinks. Now, unfortunately, in the UK, you can brew beer and you haven't got to put the ingredients on the side of the can. So no one will really ever know what's in this beer. But by tasting it, and that is my last ever taste of this beer, it tastes like a bag of sugar. If you were to grab a bag of sugar, a kilo bag of sugar, and pour a pint of water into that kilo bag of sugar, and then try and kind of like devour that bag of sugar, that's all I seem to be able to taste. There's sweetness in there, it's overly sweet, overly sugary. I can feel the stickiness on my lips. It's awful, it's atrocious, absolutely atrocious. And I don't know, I don't know if the UK is on a desperate need to try and chase down America in the obesity scales. I don't know, maybe we're on like this, like, let's beat America. Let's see how obese we can get. I don't know. I simply don't know. I'm not part of that world. I'm not part of that world. I'd rather eat a slice of toast, or I'd rather have a cup of tea with no sugar in it. Enjoy the bitterness of the tea, or enjoy a nice bitter lager, German or Czech lager, than something like this. I just can't see what the appeal is, and I know that people will probably comment on this. Well, why are you buying it then? I'm buying it just to offer an opinion, my own opinion on this beer, and for me it's atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious. I'm gonna go and brush my teeth now and wash the stickiness off my lips. 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.